Okay, so this time you guys have given us a really interesting set of materials.
Yeah.
A guide to self-defense and physical fitness.
Nice.
And it even has illustrations for different exercises.
Oh,
So we're going to kind of cut through all the noise and try to get to like, what are the real like valuable insights we can get from this?
absolutely.
And specifically for you, right?
Yeah, I think what's so fascinating about this is that a lot of people, when they think about fitness, they're thinking about how they look.
Right.
But what really stood out in these sources is how important physical fitness is for your overall well-being.
Yeah.
And it even goes so far as to talk about self-protection and your capability there.
Right. So this is about building like a strong, resilient foundation.
Exactly.
And right out of the gate, this material, it mentions some things that I think a lot of times get overlooked.
Yeah.
We're talking about breathing, like how we breathe,
Oh, wow.
the digestive system, and how that plays a role in your fitness.
Oh,
And even some warnings about like not pushing ourselves too hard,
I like that.
too fast.
Yeah.
And then there's like practical exercises that are illustrated, which I'm actually really excited to look at.
Nice.
So let's kind of unpack all of this. And I think a good place to start would be breathing,
Yeah.
like how we breathe.
You know what I think is so interesting about what the source had to say is that breathing is something we do all the time.
Right.
We don't think about it,
Right.
but it talks about the importance of really deep breathing
Mm.
and not just when you're exercising
Right.
throughout the whole day, making sure your body's getting enough oxygen.
Right.
And the main thing I took away from it was like, if you practice these deep exhales
Huh.
regularly, as a part of your routine,
Right.
it can really increase your energy levels and make you more resilient to stress.
Wow. So it is very foundational
Yeah.
for fitness and even self-defense.
Absolutely.
Now, what I thought was really interesting is that the document even talks about how breathing properly supports blood flow to the brain
Yeah.
and the muscles.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, blood is like the delivery system for everything
Exactly.
that our body needs to function.
It's like the UPS
Yeah.
of the body,
Exactly.
delivering everything.
Yeah, so that oxygen is super important.
Yeah.
And I thought this was interesting. It said that even during like what we consider normal breathing,
Right?
we're only using like a third
Wow.
of our lung capacity.
Really?
So if we actually focus on exhaling fully,
Yeah.
like that's a small change with a huge impact, potentially.
It seems like it. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's take this a step further
Yeah.
and talk about kind of the bigger picture of how our body works.
Okay.
So we've got the blood. It's like a transportation network. It's
Correct.
delivering nutrients.
Yeah.
And then it's getting rid of waste.
Yeah.
And then there's the digestive system. And it's providing the fuel for all the activity, the repair,
Right.
all that good stuff. And here's where I thought it got really interesting.
Yeah.
The material refers to it as like an internal automation system,
Huh.
which I thought was a really cool way to put it.
Yeah.
So it's basically like your body gets better at processing fuel and repairing
Oh, okay.
the more you're active.
That's interesting.
Like your body's saying, hey,
Yeah.
you're putting in the effort to move, so I'm going to get better at supporting you.
I like that it's like a reward system.
Totally, yeah.
Your body's rewarding you.
And this source also talks about how, things have changed,
Yeah.
like how we live and how we work.
Oh, right.
Years ago, manual labor
Yeah.
was like just a part of life for most people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now technology is doing so much of that.
Right.
So exercise is no longer like built in
Right.
to our day.
It's something we have to choose.
Right. It's a conscious choice.
Yeah.
And it's really a necessity
Yeah.
if we want to stay fit.
Yeah. I mean, if we want to have the fitness that we were designed for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it would be good to get into some of the more practical things
Mhm.
that this material talks about.
For sure.
Like, what can we actually do?
Yeah.
And it even addresses like some common misconceptions about fitness.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things that stood out to me was it talks about those elastic support garments.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, people use for back support and knee braces and things like that.
Right, right.
And it was saying that those, they can be helpful in some ways,
Yeah.
but if you use them too much, you can actually make your muscles weaker
Oh, interesting.
because they're not doing the work.
I see.
They're relying on that external support.
So it's like using training wheels all the time.
Exactly.
You might feel stable,
Yeah.
but you're not really developing your own balance.
Yeah, you're not really building that intrinsic strength.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
One thing that I thought was really good is it gives us a place to start.
Okay.
For people who are maybe feeling overwhelmed
Yeah, yeah.
about starting a fitness routine,
What does it say?
it actually recommends just like 5 to 10 minutes a day
Oh, okay.
of exercise.
That's not bad.
Yeah, to get started.
Yeah.
And the idea is that even that small amount can start to have like a positive impact
Right.
on the way your body's working.
Yeah.
It's about being consistent before worrying about like crazy intense workouts.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's way less intimidating
that's Holly.
than what you usually hear.
Exactly. And I think another thing that comes up a lot is nutrition.
Yeah.
Eating right.
Oh, for sure.
People always talking about how to eat for weight management.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what does the source have to say about that?
Well, it actually says that you should focus on just eating nutritious foods
Okay.
rather than getting caught up in like these super restrictive diets.
Right.
And it even says that if you're not eating enough and you're exercising really hard,
Yeah.
that can be counterproductive.
Makes sense.
Your body needs the fuel to do the work.
Yeah, you can't expect a car to run on empty.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So it's got to have the fuel.
Yeah.
The material also talks about monitoring progress.
Okay.
So specifically about weighing yourself.
What does it say?
It says you should weigh yourself regularly,
Oh, okay.
maybe like once a week,
Okay.
but not to obsess over it,
Yeah.
but just as like a data point
Okay.
in combination with how you're eating and how you're exercising.
So it's not about like the daily ups and downs.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's about seeing the trends over time.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I think another thing people believe is that you have to be totally wiped out after a workout
Oh, yeah.
for it to be effective.
Right.
Like you got to feel exhausted.
Yeah, totally.
So what does the material say about that?
It says that's not true at all. It says that it's more about consistency
Okay.
and having a good plan
Okay.
and not pushing yourself to that point of exhaustion every time.
So you're saying it's more about like the long game,
Yeah.
not just like a one time I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah. It's about building a habit
Right.
that you can sustain.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And then it talks about celebrating those small improvements.
Yeah.
Not overlooking them
Yeah, for sure.
and being patient.
Right. And sticking with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I loved this little piece of advice it gave before you start any exercise.
What's that?
It says, take a deep breath and exhale fully.
Oh, yeah.
So simple.
Yeah.
But I bet a lot of people don't even think about it.
You're right.
And it's just getting your body ready for activity.
Yeah. And getting those oxygen levels up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, the document also has all these illustrated exercises.
Oh, right.
And it encourages people to really read the instructions.
Yeah.
And if something's too hard,
Yeah.
modify it.
Right.
Make it work for you.
It's all about listening to your body.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be really cool to talk about some of the specific types of exercises
Yeah.
that it recommends
Okay, let's do it.
and the benefits that it says come with them.
Okay, I'm interested to hear this.
So the first thing I thought was interesting is this idea that like athletic skills are kind of transferable.
Oh, okay.
Like you learn something in one sport
Yeah.
and it can benefit you in other areas.
Okay.
And it says that participating in lots of different sports
Yeah.
can really help you improve your overall fitness.
Okay.
So that's strength, endurance, flexibility, and coordination.
Right. So it's not just about like being good at one thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it gives some specific examples.
Oh, cool.
So swimming.
Yeah.
Swimming is like a super complete form of exercise
Oh, wow.
because it uses all these major muscle groups
Yeah.
and it's really easy on the joints.
Right.
So that makes it a good option for a lot of people.
Yeah, for a wide range of people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It also mentions bicycling
Okay. Yeah.
and it says that's really good for your lower body
Yeah.
and your circulatory system.
Makes sense.
And then it also talks about rowing and canoeing.
Oh, cool.
And those are great for upper body.
Yeah.
Back, abdomen, shoulders, arms.
Wow. Like a full upper body workout.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then it even mentions ice skating.
Oh, interesting.
And it says that's really good for developing balance and timing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then it kind of brings us back to this idea that simple exercises
Yeah.
done consistently
Yeah.
are often way more effective
Right.
than like these complex routines
Yeah. Yeah.
that you only do once in a while.
Yeah. That makes sense. It's about building that habit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then finally, it emphasizes getting a checkup
Okay.
from a doctor before starting any new exercise program.
Right. Always a good idea.
Yeah, just to make sure you're good to go.
Yeah.
So now let's get into these illustrated exercises.
Okay.
Because I'm actually kind of curious to see what they look like.
Yeah, me too.
What kind of things does it show?
Well, it actually starts with exercises for your abdominal muscles.
Okay,
So like your abs.
got it.
And one of them is called the curl up.
Okay.
And it says you should do like 6 to 8 of those.
Okay.
And then there's the swing sit up.
Okay.
And you do more of those, like
Right.
15 to 20.
Got it.
And then there's the folded arm sit-up,
Okay.
and you do about the same amount of those,
Okay.
15 to 20.
Got it.
And then there's one called the piston start,
Okay.
and you do even more of those,
Okay.
25 to 30.
Wow.
Yeah.
So those are all for the abs.
Yeah.
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 What else is there?
Well, then it moves on to exercises that are more like twisting movements for your waist.
Okay.
So there's one called the twister,
Okay.
and you do 15 of those.
Got it.
And then there's the jackknife,
Okay.
and you do a lot of those, like 50.
Wow.
Yeah. And then there's the Rocca special pike.
Okay.
And it says you should only try that one if you've already mastered the others.
This is like a progression.
Yeah,
Go
exactly.
with the easier ones.
Yeah.
And then work your way up.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then it talks about the importance of the waist, right?
Yes. It says that it's basically the center of movement
Right.
and energy for a lot of things you do physically.
So like throwing a ball,
Yeah.
lifting something,
Right.
even just turning your body.
Exactly.
A lot of those movements start at the waist.
Yeah. It's all about that core strength.
Yeah. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
And then it talks about the back too, right?
Yes. It says that the back is actually really vulnerable to injuries.
Yep.
So it's really important to do exercises that make it stronger.
Right.
And more flexible.
Right. Because a strong and flexible back
Yeah. Yeah.
is essential for good posture,
Right.
preventing pain.
Yeah.
All the movements we do every day.
Yeah. It's like the foundation
Exactly.
of your body.
And of course, we can't forget about the legs.
Oh, right.
You know, that's how we get around.
Yeah.
So what does the material say about legs?
Well, it says that our legs are like the most used part of our body.
Yeah, makes sense.
And it talks about the different muscle groups, the quads, the hamstrings, the calves.
Yeah.
And it says that walking is one of the best things you can do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just walking.
Yeah, because it uses all those muscles.
Huh.
And it's good for you.
So it's not all about like crazy intense workouts.
Right.
Sometimes it's just the simple things.
Exactly. Just getting out there and moving.
So when we look at everything from this material, it's pretty clear that fitness is not just about like specific exercises or what you eat.
It's so much bigger than that.
It's about how your whole body works.
Yeah, it's about those fundamental things.
Yeah, it's about how efficiently you breathe,
Right.
how well you nourish your body,
Yeah.
and moving consistently in different ways.
Yeah.
And I think one of the biggest takeaways for me is that you don't have to spend hours in a gym
Right.
or do these super complicated workouts
Yeah.
to be fit.
Yeah.
It's about those simple, regular exercises
Right.
that you can do every day.
Just make them a part of your life.
Exactly. And it seems like a big part of it is listening to your body,
Absolutely.
starting where you're at
Yeah.
and not giving up.
Yeah. Persistence is key.
You know, so many of you listening, you're busy,
Yeah.
you're prepping for meetings,
Right.
you're catching up on all the things happening in your field,
Yeah.
you're curious, you want to learn. And I think this material really highlights that physical well-being can actually help you with all of that.
Oh, totally.
You know, it can make your mind sharper
Yeah.
and you're just better prepared overall.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I want to leave you with a thought to ponder.
Okay.
You know, we talked about how everything in your body is connected.
Yeah.
So what if even small, consistent improvements in how you move your body could actually have like a ripple effect, you know, influencing other parts of your life,
Interesting.
your well-being,
Yeah.
you know, maybe things that you wouldn't even think are related.
Right.
And the material we've looked at today really suggests that the benefits of physical fitness, they go way beyond just the physical.
Yeah. It's really about the whole person.
Exactly.
Yeah.